Keto OMAD, probably one of the most effective ways to lose weight and to lose it fast. Keto OMAD is how I made this transformation. I started off my OMAD journey with Keto OMAD, and OMAD and keto are just like a match made in weight loss heaven. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you a how-to, a straight-on, full-on beginner's guide from macros to calorie counts to timing of eating, to when to weigh yourself, to when to exercise, and the whole lot. Now let's begin on how to get started with losing weight with Keto OMAD. First things first, you want to be aware of what you're doing. How do you become aware? You track everything. Download these two apps. Number one, Carb Manager. That is going to help you stay in ketosis. It's going to show you your macros, your calories, and the whole lot. And number two, the fasting app Zero. You don't have to download these apps. These are the apps I use. I get these questions asked a lot. What apps do you use to track your calories? What apps do you use to track your fasting? Well, these are the two apps I use. You can download whatever app you see fit or whatever app you're already using. Number two, you want to become OMAD fast adapted. I have a video on this right here. I'll link it in the iCard above, but I will explain it to you right now very quickly, but I recommend you watching that video after this video. So to become OMAD fast adapted, you need to get into a routine with fasting. And if you've never fasted before, I highly recommend starting off with a 16-hour fast and then incrementally work your way up to fasting for 20 hours a day. So for example, a week will look like this. 1 week, you fast for 16 hours. If you think you can push it, add another hour. Go to 17 hours, then go to 18 hours, and then get to 20 hours. And when you are starting off with the 16-8 method, you want to track your calories. More on calorie numbers later on in the video, just hang tight. Becoming OMAD fast adapted will take about 2 to 3 weeks. It should happen faster when you're on keto because keto just crushes hunger. Keto is magical in that way. It crushes your hunger. It reduces the hunger hormones and you're just in a epic situation where you can just easily lose weight. That's why Keto OMAD was so effective for me and many people, if you can stick to it. But remember, eventually you're gonna have to transition off of it. But for now, I'm telling you how to get into Keto OMAD. So here are some tips on how to get fast adapted. I do have a video on electrolytes linked in the archive above, but during the day, you want to be drinking your electrolytes. First thing I do in the morning when I'm doing a Keto OMAD day is that I have a big cup of hot water of sodium, potassium, and sodium bicarbonate. I drink that water and then I get on with my day. That water is full of electrolytes. It gets my metabolism going and it crushes hunger. Also, when I have that water, I also take vitamins that I'm able to take on an empty stomach, like vitamin C, vitamin B2, and what have you. Then after having my big hot cup of salt water, I make sure to down tons of fresh water. Once you get thirsty after having your electrolyte drink, drink fresh water. You need to be drinking water constantly during your fasting period. I also have a video on tons of hacks on how to crush your hunger while doing the OMAD fast, but I'll share with you some tips here. Pickle juice is a awesome one. Drink pickle juice when you get hungry. Apple cider vinegar. You can have any 0-calorie teas. If you're a coffee drinker, drink coffee. All that stuff will help you crush your hunger. Mind you, when you drink coffee, you gotta have it black. No anything in it. And you want to have your coffee earlier on in the day, not so much closer to the time that you break your fast. Once you get to about 20 hours of fasting, you want to weigh yourself. You want to weigh yourself right before you break your fast. Now, the importance of doing this is because it is going to allow you to have a consistent trend with the scale. The scale is going to be consistent when you weigh yourself right before you break your fast. Not weighing yourself in the morning, right after having a big meal the night before, not weighing yourself after having tons of water. No, you weigh yourself right before you break your fast. And when you do that, you want to ensure that you withhold water for about an hour or two. You got to play with it. Start off with an hour, see what the scale does. So this is for the 24 or more method, which is the method I use to lose weight with Keto OMAD. It's not really necessary to go 23-1. You can do it, but your weight loss is going to be really lightning quick if you do it that way. Really lightning quick. You can do it that way, but it will be lightning quick. But let's talk about the more sustainable method with Keto OMAD. When you have Carb OMAD, it's a different story because it's best to literally eat your meal within a half an hour window when you have the carbs. But with Keto OMAD, you can do the 24 or more method. So you fast for about 20 to 21 hours. Then you break your fast with a small ketogenic meal. And when I say a small ketogenic meal, you want that meal to be 400 calories in nature. Here are an example of macros I had on a ketogenic day. You want your macros to look like this. You want your meal to look like this. Real keto macros are 80% fat, give or take 2% other way. 20% protein, no more. You don't want your protein higher. You don't need a lot of protein on keto. In fact, if you have too much protein on keto, gluconeogenesis will happen and that protein will get converted into carbohydrates. And then you want your carbs sparing. Sparing, that means like nothing, 1 to 2%. This is an example of a recent Keto OMAD meal I had. As you can see, the yellow represents the amount of fat, and the protein is in blue. You see how there's absolutely no carbs? This meal was literally just bacon and eggs, and it was 448 calories, as you can see right there. So that is how you want your meals to look like. So I had 42 grams of fat and about 17 grams of protein. So that's about 80% fat and less than 20% protein right there. So you want your meals to be no more than 20 grams of protein, and your fat is basically unlimited and your carbs is sparing. Now, this was a 1500 calorie keto day. Look at the macros on this. Look, protein is at 90 grams. That's the max amount of protein I was allowed on a 1500 calorie diet. Fat is at 125 grams, and carbs, what is carbs? 13 grams of net carbs. This is an example of a ketogenic day. Look at that fat count. Look at the red. The red is carbs sparing, and that is just a thing of beauty. I'll put some more examples of this on the screen on days that I had Keto OMAD days, so you can kind of get a feel for the macros. And when you are weighing yourself, this is my April weight log. You want your weight log to look like this. You want to weigh yourself right before you break your fast, and you write your weight down like this in this column. You want to write it down like this. You don't want it in an app. You don't want it anything. You want it hand to paper. Why do you want it this way? You want it this way because it's easier to see trends and patterns when it's written down in line form, even with the calories. NA, I'm not sure what happened there. Probably didn't track my calories. That happens, but as you can see, look at that. And there's my first day of Keto OMAD. Like the 23-1 Keto OMAD, as you can see. Like literally, when you do 23-1 intermittent fasting with keto, you're barely gonna get in. You're gonna get into 1,000 to 1,200 calories, and you're guaranteed to lose weight with that. As you can see, the scale trend right there is down. No calorie counting. This is when I was doing stuff with coal back in the day. But yeah, look at that. You want it like this. You want it clean. You want it precise. And you use the scaled feedback to tell you what to do. So you break your fast with a small snack, 400 calories, and then wait a couple hours and have the rest of your calories in the bigger meal. That's how I did Keto OMAD. So if I was doing a 1,200 calorie day, I would have my 400 calorie snack, wait a couple hours, and then I would have an 800 calorie meal. So if you're looking for calories on OMAD, you need to count your calories on OMAD, especially women, because we undereat. We undereat. Men can eat way more than us in a small sitting. So with keto, it's important to count your calories because you don't want to undereat to ensure that, because it's so easy to undereat on Keto OMAD. And when this happens, you put yourself in a bad situation, and then you end up getting depleted without even realizing it, and then you can't sleep well, and then you break off the keto diet because it's too hard. So to avoid this, you need to track your calories, and you're gonna be increasing with Keto OMAD. So ladies, start off at 1,200 calories, use the weight log to determine how much you need to increase your calories or decrease. You don't want to go any below 1,000, but you want to start off at 1,200. Everyone should lose weight at 1,200 calories on keto. Like, come on. If you're following this ketogenic diet, if you're following these ketogenic ratios that I've mentioned, and again, I'll give you some examples in a second. So start off with 1,200. If you're losing more than 2 to 3 pounds a week and you want to increase your calories, go up to 1,300 calories. Then do that again. If you're still losing 2 to 3 pounds a week, go up to 1,400 calories. And then you keep going until your weight plateaus, and then that's your maintenance calories. And then you use that for a day that, you know, once you figure out your maintenance calories, like for me, my maintenance calories is about 1,600 to 1,700, depending on if I worked out or not. So if I want to throw in a maintenance day, I know exactly what to do. 1,700 calories. Men, you do the same thing. You have a small ketogenic snack. For men, your snack's probably going to be 600 calories. And then you have the rest of your calories in your later ketogenic bigger OMAD meal. Now that's the way to do it with the 24 or more method. 23-1 method, it's the same thing. You just have all your calories in a half an hour window. But I personally like with Keto OMAD to fast for 20 to 22 hours a day. Before I get into the meal plan, I totally forgot to mention, once you're done your meal, you want to go for a walk. You know, you don't want to be going to bed on a full stomach. You want to like move around for a bit, and you want to have that meal 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, so you're nice and satiated. And after you have your meal, you want to have it with a big hot cup of bone broth. Highly recommend bone broth, and add sodium and potassium. And again, when you have your meal, you want to dose it with sodium and potassium. So basically, when you're done your meal, you're going to be thirsty, so thirsty. So you should be drinking tons of water. This is a great time to have some sparkling water, get in tons of fresh water, just drink tons of water, because on Keto OMAD, you are going to be going to the bathroom a lot. You're going to be dumping tons of water because you're dumping weight. And when you dump weight, you dump electrolytes. So that's why it's important to constantly replenish your electrolytes with Keto OMAD, because you don't want to get into a situation where your electrolytes are low, because then it'll make you crack on the ketogenic OMAD diet. Constipation 101 with Keto OMAD. When I had this problem, coconut oil, you want to have that with your meals. Have it straight with some dark chocolate, which is key, which is right there. You want to have some dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is going to be the way that you get in enough calories with Keto OMAD. Anything that's fat, dark chocolate, almond butter, pickles, because pickles will help with the sodium. Sodium makes you go to the bathroom. Vitamin C also gets you going as well. So that's a little, these are notes I have from like coaching conversations with Cole. All right, here is an example of a keto macro day on OMAD. So you can actually do this off OMAD and you'll still lose weight, but Keto OMAD, you just get the faster weight loss. But here's an example of 1,300 calorie macros. Fat is at 76, so that's 110 grams. Protein's at 20%, 65 grams of protein. Yes, don't worry, you won't waste away on 65 grams of protein. I did a video talking about protein and the whole lot when everyone comes to the fear of under eating protein. You don't need copious amounts of protein. You want to lose weight? This is the macro you want to lose it on. I know a lot of people say no because fat has more calories per gram, but honestly, fat just works better when it comes to weight loss. And carbs, 15 grams. That's on a 1,300 calorie diet. 1,400 calorie diet. 77 grams, it's still 77%, it's still kind of the same. 120 grams of fat, 20% protein at 69 grams of protein per day, and carbs at 3% at 12 grams. So here is an example of me getting in the rest of my calories on Keto OMAD. This is a 1,400 calorie day. So my meal, so when I say my meal, that's my meat and my vegetables, my keto meal. It's really hard to get in a lot with that keto meal because you're having a lot of fat, right? So it's an 800 calorie meal. There you go. And to get the rest of my calories in, like back in the day when I was 229 pounds, I would just have the meal. It would be like 600 to 800 calories, but not now. I'm too lean for that. So I would do that, and then dark chocolate and almond butter is going to be the way how I add in the extra calories. Throwing coconut oil in there too, because that keeps you flowing. That is exactly how I do it. Anyway, this was a thoroughly long video. I want it to be as detailed as possible. I'm willing to make more videos on this topic because repetition is the best way to learn. I'm willing to show more of my weight log, my calories. I want to do that more because I think incrementally showing the process really helps people out a lot. If you made it this far into the video, just drop in a bunch of pig emojis. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.